most is BC, because from what I'm seeing, they have a strategic plan and a vision for their elders, like their senior care, their palliative care, their interprofessional health care, and they're investing in RNs. Mm-hmm. So I say if there's any province that I'm thinking has got it right, it would be BC, because they seem the healthiest right now. I don't see the province we live in as being very healthy right now with healthcare. I see a lot of problems, and that impacts on what you teach, when you teach, and who you teach in the schools. And so I see the people leaving that are moving on to retirement. I see really bright people coming in to be teachers. We just might not have enough of a critical number right now to really fill the void that we're going to have. But definitely the talent's there. It's about the numbers. It's not about the talent. Mm-hmm. Coming in with more talent. It's good.
So in that vein, kind of, who do you think is missing from this work still in your faculty? Who would you be more involved? More
okay. Well, I tell you what, we're also trying to catch up on digitalization of healthcare. We're pretty good, but we're not where we need to be. We're very good at simulation. I have two simulation specialists, and one of them has been winning. Well, both of them have been winning awards nationally. So I'd say we have a really strong experiential learning platform that we're using, and we're doing well with it. So you're asking me, what are we missing?
In terms of the indigenous piece.
Oh, in the indigenous, yeah. I need more faculty that know what my one champion knows. I don't know, because everybody has their own specialties, how we're actually going to pull that off and do that. I think that there needs to be more opportunities to go away and learn, and more conferences where they bring us together and they focus on this so that we can be immersed in it and talk to people and make network with people that can help us when we get stuck. I don't think it can just be a couple of topics at a conference. I think we need entire conferences and workshops to help us get there. Mm-hmm. And maybe even what Kazan does with the digitalization is we need peer mentors. We need a certificate program, and I think they probably will one day develop that to help us.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, it would be great if they did that, because they're doing it with digital health. We've done it with clinical teaching, and I think we need to do it with, you asked me earlier about my role. Well, my role is on the board. And so through that work with the board and through other boards that I belong to, I can influence the conversation and add to the conversation and influence maybe the direction that some of those things go in. So that's my job.
Mm-hmm. Great. Okay. I'm going to ask you next about the challenges, facilitators, and opportunities found within the work of incorporating more Indigenous health. And I'm going to ask them separately here. Okay. So what are some of the major challenges to engaging in this work? Anything that's kind of like,
Well, not having a complement of, not having the base knowledge myself. And wanting to have more knowledge, that's always, that's a barrier. Mm-hmm. Not having a large complement of faculty in clinical or theory that have this understanding and to be relying on one or two people. Not having time to really immerse into this area, to learn as much as I can because I'm too busy doing other things. Mm-hmm. And I think that would be it. Like, it's time and it's resources and it's opportunities that would be, barriers.
Mm-hmm. Is there any kind of financial reasons, funding issues that prevent that work from happening, or is that something?
Setting aside money to make sure that this is a priority, and we'll find the money. We'll do it any way we can. And like I said, with that one, bringing that chief to Windsor, we didn't have enough money to do it all by ourselves. And there were some things we needed to do for him with his accommodation and travel and different things. And so what we did was we partnered with medicine and we partnered with other faculties, and together and collectively we got some money from the university, and then we were able to do it. So it just takes determination and planning.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and what about the facilitators? What are some things that are kind of making it a little easier for you to?
Kazan, Kupin, champions within our own faculty, champions on campus, support from administration on campus. having local people who are willing to engage with us as consultants,
Mm-hmm.
that helps.
Yeah. Where do you
Okay,
find
so they have an Indigenous navigator at the hospital, and she's someone who is very close to my person here who's a champion. So she has engaged in some research projects with her, and she is helping us to learn about death and dying and influence the curriculum in the course,
Mm-hmm.
because she's now got permission to share what goes in that course. That is a barrier too, though, the politics.
Okay.
There's a political system within the Indigenous communities themselves that provide really big barriers. The permissions, the who's the holder of the knowledge, whether or not they can share that knowledge and in what setting and with who, the politics of listening to my champion talk, she gets spooked every once in a while and she says, I can't do that. It's too political. I can't be the white woman teaching that. I'm not going to teach it. And I'm not going to let students take my course because I don't know where it's going to end up.
Mm-hmm.
And who's going to hear it and what trouble I'm going to get into.
Mm-hmm.
There's that I've heard. And I've also feel that, this is a very fragile course that we're going forward on. And at any given time, it can break and relationships can break. It's just going to take somebody doing the wrong thing or saying the wrong thing and it'll all fall apart, because we have to work on trust and we have to work on mutual respect. And so we can't just do this for the sake of doing it. We have to do it because it's valued and we have people who are committed.
Mm-hmm. Has there been like a specific instance when you talk about the political systems and stuff like that?
There has been, but I don't think even I'm at, I really don't think I can even talk about it because it's not fair to the person who experienced it. And I'm not in it. Sure. I have not experienced it. I listen to other people saying that's not a good idea or that is a good idea. And then we go from there. But just say that the people who are deeper in this, and maybe you'll hear about it in your other interviews, will be able to tell you that the barriers are often political. Because, like I said, this particular person, it took her years to get permission to go into the community that she wanted to go into and do her research. And then there is guard over, they have to read it first before it's, do you know what I mean? Like there's control. But that's because of all the harm that's being done, and the trust isn't there. And I believe that the Indigenous people themselves are owners of their knowledge, and that's something they value that they have. We can't take that away from them. We've already taken too much away from them. So they need to provide that to us. And it is about permissions. It is about walking softly and walking slowly and backing off. What do we know? I don't know. I would not presume to know anything. I would be starting all over as an individual, but wanting to be doing the right thing and not wanting to cause harm.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So
the politics is definitely a barrier.
Yeah, for sure. And not even just in the community, but within, just in general.
Everywhere. It's a barrier everywhere.
Yeah. Okay. And then so for facilitators, you said the Indigenous navigator has kind of helped.
Indigenous navigator, the elders, the people who are willing to work with us, who want to work with us, who see it as their path to come and help us to understand and trust. We've built that trust with them, but that's what takes time.
Yeah. So the relationships then have been facilitating. Got it. And then, what about, are there specific opportunities, like things that have come up and you've just said, you know what, I'm going to take that back to my faculty and kind of try to run with that?
There are opportunities, especially when we have the partnership with others on campus for events that are happening for us to take part as well. So those are definitely opportunities. If sharing resources is really important. Other faculties are doing things on campus and we are invited to them. And also our Indigenous Students Center is also doing things. Our vice president of student engagement is doing things. Like, there's lots of opportunities on campus for us to get involved. And then specifically